The Three Laughing Monks, a story that will make you smile from the heart, sometimes the deepest. Wisdom needs no words, just laughter that touches the soul. In a world full of worries, a laugh shared is a light remembered. This is not just a story about three monks, it's a celebration of joy, even in the face of death. Most people today have forgotten how to laugh, not because they don't want to, but because life, little by little, has taken the joy from them. Dreams lost, failures repeated, smiles fading into polite silence, and laughter. It has become a distant memory buried beneath deadlines, disappointment, and the quiet ache of survival. But once in a while a story comes along that doesn't just remind you to laugh. It makes you laugh, right from the heart. And this is one of those stories. A long time ago, in the northern mountains of ancient China, there lived three mysterious monks. No one knew their names. They never introduced themselves. They never explained their journey. In fact, they never spoke at all. It wasn't forced, it wasn't polite. The only thing they ever did was laugh. A deep, pure, contagious laughter. It was real, so full of life and joy that anyone who heard it couldn't help but smile, then giggled. Wherever they went, village markets, dusty roads, crowded temples, they would stand in the center of town and begin to laugh. At first, people were confused. They stared, they whispered. But then, something magical would happen. One by one, the villagers began to laugh too. The woman carrying water, the tired merchant, the lonely child, the old man who hadn't smiled in years, all of them laughing together, forgetting their burdens, if only for a moment. The monks never preached. They never gave advice. They never spoke a single word. Their laughter was their message. And somehow, through that laughter, they reminded people of something they had forgotten. That life is beautiful. That happiness is simple. And that joy is meant to be shared. Word of the Three Laughing Monks spread far and wide. They became legends across the land. People would travel for days just to see them, just to hear them laugh. Because no one had ever brought so much happiness by saying absolutely nothing. They didn't laugh at people. They laughed with life. As if they had uncovered the great cosmic joke that most of us miss. As if they understood that life, with all its ups and downs, is still worth laughing about. But time, even for monks, marches on. The three monks grew old. Their hair turned white. Their steps slowed. And one winter evening, while staying in a small village, one of the monks passed away. The village fell silent. Surely, now, the laughter would stop. Surely, this would be the moment they cried. The next morning, the villagers gathered quietly, expecting to witness grief for the first time. But what they saw stunned them. The two remaining monks stood beside their friends. Bodhi and laughed, not softly, but loudly, from the belly, with joy in their eyes. The villagers were confused. "How can you laugh?" someone asked. "Your friend has died." For the first time ever, the monks spoke, and their words were simple. "We're laughing because our friend has won." They explained that for years, the three of them had a private game joking about who would leave this world first. And now, their friend had beaten them. He had walked through the final door, and instead of mourning, and they were celebrating his victory. But that wasn't the end. In Chinese tradition, when someone dies, their body is bathed, their old clothes removed, and they are dressed in fresh garments before cremation. But this monk had made one final request. "Do not wash me. Do not dress me. I have lived a life so full of laughter that no impurity ever touched me. Let me go, just as I am pure." And so they did. As his body lay on the pyre and the fire was lit, something unexpected happened. From within the folds of his robe came a sudden crackle. Then a burst of color. Hidden inside his clothing were Chinese firecrackers. As the flames rose, the firecrackers exploded into the air, pops of color, light, and sound that lit up the sky. The whole village gasped, and then they laughed like they hadn't in years. Even in death, the monk had found one final way to bring joy. The two remaining monks smiled and said, "One last laugh. One last gift. Our friend has done it again." Moral of the story: life is short, hearts grow tired, and sometimes, sorrow hides behind even the brightest smiles. But joy? Joy is always waiting beneath the weight of our worries, behind the silence of our days. Laughter is not the absence of pain. Even when life is heavy, it's the courage to feel light again. So, laugh freely, deeply, without reason. Live not just to survive, but to smile. And when your journey is over, may the sound you leave behind be laughter. If this story made your heart lighter, share it with someone who's forgotten how to smile. And for more stories that remind you of life's simple, powerful truths, Subscribe to Whispers Within, where every tale is a little light for your soul.